Well, I have some crazed, sleep-deprived ranting to do today. We have some good news, some bad news, and a fair bit of non-news. So let's snort some Pro Plus, chew on a tablespoon of instant coffee, and let's all kid ourselves that I'm coherent and making sense. I've been quietly amusing myself this week, trying to work out who has made the biggest deal of the incoming inventory space increase. One of my personal philosophies is, don't bother writing a book about any concept so simple you could smear it on a wall with your own shit in under a minute. Based on past experience, I estimate that I can write the number 120 on a wall in under 10 seconds. Nevertheless, some people have managed to make hour-long videos about the bigger bag space. Credit to them. I hope they're being very well paid. Last week, I mentioned a few rumours flying around about Shark Mob Studios. Well, the current odds-on favourite is that it's Avatar. The logic being, and as I wrote on the forum, I stress my opinion is a semi-educated guess, but it's an existing IP using the Unreal Engine. Shark Mob wants to distance itself from politics. I'm not saying it's definitely Avatar, but Avatar fits the bill so far. A few of us have had a lot of fun with this, but I reckon my flirtation with rumour and conjecture might stop here. We probably started more rumours than we solved, so it's been fun, but until facts emerge, let's leave it at that. Well, I guess your Jedi skills must be telling you that the State of the Game summary is about to begin. But before I cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war, I would like to take this moment to permanently ruin a few people's sexual fantasy. Please take a moment to cast your eyes over this picture of the very lovely Princess Leia and try and hold the image in your head. In the State of the Game, take a long hard look at Hamish, his white top, and imagine him tying his hair into buns. Seriously, once you see it, it can never be unseen. Star Wars will never be the same for you ever again. May the Force forgive me.
Oh no, I was sitting on the microphone, Yannick.
Hamish, we're not muted anymore.
I know. The Force is speaking. Oh my god. We'll see you in a few seconds. Yannick has...
Fake intro is fake. Done!
We're gonna use the bathroom quickly, so I don't
Whoa.
wet my pants. We hit both Yannick and Hamish. I know. Alright, happy Star Wars Day, everyone.
Whoa, whoa.
I'm just triggering some notes.
Whoa.
Don't worry about it, it's fine. Whoa. I'm really sorry.
Okay, we're done. We're done. I'm out of here.
Van Hamish. Whoa. I'm sorry, everyone, because we're trying to keep these State of the Games concise. It's annoying. It's annoying. It's annoying.
With this PTS3, we are increasing backpack capacity for all level 30 backpacks that are high-end, exotic, and gear sets to 120.
Nice.
We do not change stash size. That can break things. Bug fixes.
Ninja Bike won't drop anymore.
We will definitely rework it.
What I'm saying is I would not delete Ninja Bike backpacks if you have them. But now would be a good time to give you Ninja Bike backpack ideas. ETF is coming up. We closed the applications last night.
We're going to try to have the selection made early next week. If you are selected, you will receive an email. If you do not receive an email, that means you are not invited.
Why don't you guys do it in Australia? We can have Outback Survivor ETF.
It's better to do it in a studio.
I feel like you could turn it into a thing somehow.
5 minutes before he showed up in this stream.
So the other thing that is happening right now, the free weekend, depending on where you are in the world, it can be confusing to keep track of the time. So we'll leave this up for a few moments. Bring a friend in, show them what the division is about. Trying to do a weird sales pitch. That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. That is all bug fixes, and we're looking at other ways that we can make more involved with the community. Boom. We don't actually have control. I actually wish we had control.
You need to disperse immediately or you will be subject to arrest.
That's how it is. That's all for today. We can make that assumption very fairly.
See you guys.
Have a good one.
Well, I'm privately hoping that at least one of my subscribers will Photoshop Princess Leia's hair onto Hamish's head, but only time will tell. I have to say that I rather liked Hamish's new sexy hoodie, even though it breaks one of my cardinal rules on clothes selection. I never buy any clothes I can't spill gravy on. So patch 1.6.1 will be going live soon. I think this is fucking brilliant, because it means primarily it will force the state of the game to look forward to the bevy of possibilities which we're getting in 1.7. I'm sure most of the community will be extremely grateful that so many bugs will be addressed with this patch. I'm equally sure that, like junkies in a pharmacy, the community will immediately start fixating on the wonderful toys we'll be getting in 1.7. Yeah, we're an ungrateful bunch with no attention span, but that's why Ubisoft finds us so endearing. Maximum bag size goes up to 120 in the patch. This is great. I'm not convinced it's 60 minutes worth of fucking YouTube video great, but it's great in a modest sense. In fact, I'm going to begrudgingly give Hamish and Yannick each a scout badge for being prepared in this instance. This bag slot increase is predictive, done in advance of an incoming change, and before we all experience the impending problem. The problem being that when loadouts gets launched, people might be stumbling around carrying 48 plus items for their 6th loadout presets and barely have enough space to loot all those Ninja Bike messenger bags and Cassidys. I'm about 2 piles of crap away from starring on an episode of Hoarders, so having an extra 50 bag slots on all my characters just optimises my ability to hoover up crap for longer without organising my bags. Sweet. The ETF Charlie application window is now closed, and everyone has to sit around nervously waiting for the test results. Ironically, this is done exactly like a sexually transmitted disease clinic. If you don't hear from them, you haven't got it. According to a friend of mine. Obviously, I've never been. For those of you who did apply, I wish you all the very best of luck. Theron and Buzz, I hired a voodoo shaman to sacrifice a chicken in your honour. No clue if it'll work, but my neighbour's cat ate well at least. We have just had another free weekend, where people whose lives have remained blissfully untainted by the Division get a chance to self-immolate like Tibetan monks dousing themselves in petrol and download their consciousness into the virus-ravaged Manhattan that we all know and love. Hamish is encouraging us to make the most of the free weekend as an opportunity to show our friends firsthand what the Division is genuinely about. OK then, I'll force them to do Lexington 50 times, then take them to the Dark Zone and shoot them in the back. Reading Steam reviews posted over the weekend, it's become very apparent that launching a promotional free weekend to coincide with a PTS, with all the associated server problems this causes, might have resulted in the few servers that remain being stretched to capacity. Like driving a burger van into a refugee camp, demand massively outstrips supply. Reading the Steam reviews was enlightening. There's a lot of complaints about not being able to log in, latency and invisible enemies. A very common complaint from new players was that bosses were bullet sponges, and someone described it as a Nerf gun simulator. Notably, about every 4th person loved it, and many expressed surprise at this fact. Clearly, a lot of people had very poor preconceptions about the game and were pleasantly surprised. I also got the impression that some people were posting reviews out of spite. A typical example of this would be someone with 22 minutes played, but was able to launch into a lengthy and detailed deconstruction of the game and every single thing wrong with it. I'm sorry, but this looked dubious. In my first playthrough, 22 minutes was just about long enough for me to choose my ugly face, practice my forward rolls, and crash a helicopter. The lessons I took away from reading recent Steam reviews were: the game has a serious reputation problem. Some people are shitposting on principle, and I don't believe all negative reviews are quite as legit and straightforward as they appear. PTS and free weekends might not be a good mix. Lots of people felt the game wasn't optimised well and got stutter and overheating, etc. The bullet sponge problem in 1.6 is an even bigger issue now for new low-level players and is making people feel like it's a game with guns that don't behave like guns. Strangely, what with the internet and television, many people these days are familiar with the concept of firearms. They are also aware that being shot in the face with an assault rifle is often a deeply unpleasant experience. It will really sting, and the back of your head will explode in a large cloud of fucking pink vapour. Many people new to the game naturally feel a little bit confused when they start playing for the first time and encounter cleaners wearing plastic suits and rioters wearing baseball caps and discover that their titanium fucking reinforced skulls have the capacity to soak up 5 to 10 assault rifle rounds as standard. Is it so strange that some new players then stop in their tracks and say, what the fuck is going on here? I think at endgame people are acclimatised to the whole bullet sponge problem, but starting out in this game it doesn't make any sense at all and is putting new players off. On the plus side, about 1 in 4 players who try it see the good in the game, love the city and buy it. McSkippy82 made an interesting post relating to this, linked below. Check it out. After months of people asking for the Ninja Bike messenger bag to be reworked, I am very pleased to announce that it hasn't been fucking reworked. It's being removed from the loot tables and will be returned at some unspecified time in the distant future, hopefully with some manner of non-cretinous stats. Hamish has appealed for people to come forward with their dream suggestions. I, however, am appealing for calm and a big healthy dose of common sense. Why the caution? Well, I've been watching some of the suggestions being made, things like granting stealth from NPCs, immunity to seeker mines, and some of these are getting at least token support from the community managers. They are impressive, imaginative and creative suggestions. They are brilliant. The problem is that they're brilliant in the same way that a homemade rocket backpack is brilliant. If I grab my toolkit, a bunch of metal scrap, some old seat belts and 10 litres of fucking ethanol and fabricated a genuine, fully functional rocket pack, that would be fucking brilliant too. The $1 million question is, would you really want to strap it on and test if it works? Would you fuck? As brilliant as the concept is, the reality would prove to be far more problematic. It would probably just blow up and set you on fire. Perhaps the rockets might work and just blow the back of your legs off. The absolute best case scenario is that it works perfectly. You get fired off into the air at 200 miles per hour and you get an approximately 20-second window of opportunity to learn how to become a veteran rocket pack pilot before you realise 20 seconds might not be enough time and you are smashed head first into the side of the nearest building at close to the speed of sound. Congratulations, you have just experienced the most exciting 20 seconds of your life. I'm sure that's what the ambulance crew would be talking about whilst they scraped you up and poured you into plastic bags. The moral of the story is this: ideas can be both brilliant and fucking stupid at the same time. I understand everyone's enthusiasm to come up with some kind of amazing design for the Ninja Bag, but Christ alive, please think through the consequences. Granting stealth? Seriously? Are we just going to introduce stealth mechanics into the game as a lol without thinking this through? Is it really sensible to suddenly create one item that lets you stealth from NPCs, become the only bag anyone will ever equip, and let people kite other players through groups of mobs using invisibility? Do this and you might as well delete every other bag in the game and watch PvP descend into a massive game of aggro tag. Another suggestion was that the Ninja Bag would eat seeker mines and render the wearer effectively immune from them. At first glance, not so crazy, right? No, this is batshit crazy. This is as mad as a box of fucking mice. This is an easy way out of resolving the seeker mine debate, but you are going to achieve it by introducing one fucking gear item that neutralises an entire build. Both of these suggestions are the balancing equivalent of doing 10 tequila body shots off a hooker's tits and playing spin the bottle. If you are going to stagger blindly down that alley, how about a set of gloves that makes you immune to Deadeye? Or a pair of fucking magical underpants which makes me immune to all firearms builds? The Cassidy is a fucking awful exotic, but I wouldn't suggest we buff it so that it fires 2 nuclear-armed Tomahawk missiles. If you turn the bag into the best bag in the game, you have failed. If it's the best, there is no longer any choice. If there is no choice, then it's not balanced. You certainly don't want to use the bag to accidentally piggyback some entirely new and potentially game-breaking mechanic into the division. On the forums, the guys were joking about perks and armour sets that had abilities like take 50% less damage if you're shot in the back whilst running away. I thought this thread was truly hilarious. Little did I know that it ended up being one of the least crazy rebalancing suggestions I would read this month. The acid test of the Ninja bag will be that when it is fixed, it will be great, but it won't be the only bag you would choose to wear. Don't turn it into a god relic for fuck's sake, or you might as well just get rid of the bag slots altogether and give everyone the perks passively. I can't stress enough though, 10 out of 10 for imagination guys, well done, keep it up. Just before we head off to the ghetto fire sale that is the vendor reset, a few bits of random news. I keep getting asked if there will be a Division 2. Of course there will be. 2 words. Assassin's Creed. Ubisoft had a hit franchise on its hands and immediately started squeezing out sequels like a teenage slag from Deptford squeezes out accidental pregnancies. 20 at last count. There is zero fucking chance that one of the most successful Ubisoft IPs of all time will not have a sequel. It's guaranteed. Besides, it doesn't take a legion of developers to make those crappy gun skins. Agentbonham started a good thread about editing character appearance. I reckon this is worthy of some attention, so give it a read and pipe up, especially in the light of how the character creation screen works. I don't know how you found it, but when I started my female character, I looked at that reflection, went through the motions, finally crafted a sharp featured beauty, hit enter and accepted the changes. Then I took one look at the final character rendered in the game engine, and yes, she looked like a fucking swamp donkey that had been hit in the face with a shovel. There was barely any relationship between my choices and the end result I saw in-game. The whole system needs a rework, but holy fuck, at the very least fix it for the Division 2 please. Could the community please get an update on the current state of anti-cheat in the Division? As far as I'm aware, the current anti-cheat situation is this. Cheaters currently hack, aimbot and wallhack as much as they fucking please in a consequence-free environment whilst hysterically laughing like fucking hyenas and shouting breaking the law and spamming chat with shit like report me you bitch, whilst the people selling paid hacks roll around in house-sized piles of $100 bills whilst getting I love Ubisoft tattooed on their dicks. If anyone wants to report a hacker, they have to fill out a 15-page web form and upload a video file of proof no larger than 2 kilobytes in size. This might have made fucking sense in 1998, but these days that's the size of a monochrome GIF. Then once a week, an unpaid intern at Massive Studios logs in, does Control-A and deletes all the reports. I am of course exaggerating about one thing. There's no intern. There is just some abandoned inbox floating around somewhere in the ether of the internet, with 35,000 unread player report forms in it. Shit, where are WikiLeaks when you need them? So let us know what's going on. I understand certain details can't be shared because of the nature of the arms race of anti-cheat technology. But since there is no robust anti-cheat at the moment, please don't hide behind that excuse and say something like, trust us, we're doing stuff, but we can't say because it's like secret agent shit. So, what is the state of anti-cheat in the Division, please? I'm getting asked about this issue constantly now. Right then, let's snap on some rubber gloves and start rummaging through the trash can of the vendor reset, so we can see exactly how badly RNGesus prison raped us this week, how many times it happened, whether we were beaten afterwards, and if the guards were in on it. The hub vendor. Why is this shit nibbler still standing around doing precisely fuck all? If he's here, he's getting paid. If he's getting paid, he should be either selling guns or doing something useful like organising a pole dancing competition or cleaning the toilets. That's a point. Where are the fucking toilets around here? The special equipment vendor. There's a Liberator. Low damage, low armour damage, okay weapon talents. How desperate you are for an M4 is the real issue. And hopefully, you're not this desperate. The Pecan is a groundbreakingly average LMG these days, and this one has groundbreakingly average stats. There is, however, a spectacularly overpriced extended mag with douche nozzle rolls, and incidentally, it costs about the same as the extended mag recipe, which is a must-have item. and isn't on sale this week. The base of operation recipe vendor. Jamie Ward gave me a link to the recipe pool, which is down below, so you can go and check to see what are the possible recipes. This will certainly save you from waiting for something that isn't ever going to arrive like I was doing. Mostly it's the same crap this week. Just keep chipping away at the 256 recipes on a just in case you need them basis. The Super 90 is a fucking awesome shotty, and I love it across many games. The only problem is, it takes about a week to reload. On low and mid-tier PvE it might be fun, but until it receives a buff it's inferior to the Sausage and Showstopper. Let's face facts, when a shotgun is inferior to the Showstopper, you know it's in deep shit. The classic M44 is here, high on base damage, shit on modification possibilities. The Omega Rifle Suppressor Tan recipe, in my opinion, is a must-buy item. It's just too fucking useful for so many weapons. I'm not even sure why all the low-level recipes are even here. In fact, combine this with the bonkers normalization process in Last Stand, it's like a fucking license to cheese. The base of operations advanced weapon vendor. An MP5 ST that's not total shit actually. An M700 carbon with good headshot damage. Shame the talents render it fucking laughable. If you need a high base damage bolty, go to the Grindhouse. There's a better one there. There's a classic M60. You could do worse. For PvE, if you only have a shit LMG, the M60 is noisy, fun, makes you feel like Rambo, pre-plastic surgery, and has okay PvE talents. The Omega Suppressor is actually decent this week with 3 times damage stats. That's nice. The base of operations weapon vendor has a very useful RPK-74. This could be used as an improvised crutch or a canoe paddle. I wouldn't bother using it as a gun though. The base of operation gear vendor is wasting everyone's time as usual. The rewards claim vendor, selling the Defiler, a level 5 exotic. It's not the shittiest gun on sale this week. Christ, it's not even the shittiest exotic on sale this week. The base of operations appearance vendor has a giant bag of fuck all. And at midnight tonight, it will restock with more fuck all. Base of operations Dark Zone gear vendor. A turret duration mod of plus 7%. Thing is, there's so many performance mods to drop and so much RNG crafting a performance mod, this might be useful if you're building a Firecrest build or something. The Wolves Den. A shit Rhino special. It's a shame because in real life the whole point of a Chiappa Rhino is that it gives you massive firepower with virtually zero vertical recoil. The barrel is aligned with the bottom of the cylinder so the recoil comes straight back up the user's arm. In the Division it has inexplicably high recoil and is frankly ruined. Don't bother. Autumn's Hope has shit savage gloves. If you're too busy to grind better, you probably don't have time to be playing at all, so buy these and then get back to work. It also has an absolutely brilliant stamina mod. It's got a shit stamina roll combined with plus 2% all resistances. This is the perfect storm of shitness. Dante's Run. At last, the quest to find the world's worst nimble holster is finally over. Now we may rest and gather our strength. Kerman Station. See that depressed looking guy? That's how I felt after I visited the vendor. There's fuck all here, apart from donuts and board games. The Cavern. There's free booze and some junkies. Camp Hudson's weapon vendor. Another fucking weapon with Adept. What the fuck is up with Adept? Is there some kind of Russian computer virus spreading through the Division servers, putting fucking Adept on every goddamn weapon during reset? In shit's name, stop it with the Adept roll on all guns, please. There's an MG5, no erection required, it's just an MG5. Not a particularly good one. Camp Hudson gear vendor. Accomplished knee pads. Yeah, don't start. Okay, hear me out. If you get up tomorrow and decide to run the same mission 50 times for some drop, and you have a great build and you can easily swap out the knee pads, then you could do worse than swap these in for the duration. You get more XP from headshots and crap like that with plus 50% XP thrown in. After 4 to 5 hours of grinding the same shithole into the ground, you will find that you will be getting noticeably more field proficiency caches. In every other sense, they're useless, but for low to mid-level fuckery and grinding, the extra XP nudge really helps out with the caches. Meat locker. Shit locker, more like. Check out the tan scope. It's the worst example of the worst archetype. Use it to burn ants on a sunny day or something. Madison Stand, a ballistic shield health mod. You need them or you don't. Buy some and head back to Last Stand, where you can continue pissing off people like me, who are too clumsy to get out an EMP grenade fast enough to deal with your shield spamming shit. Last call. A drunk trying to chat up a bunny rabbit. Not the weirdest shit I've seen today, as a matter of fact. The ward. A geezer with diarrhea. And no, I can't spell diarrhea. And neither can you. Southpaw. This looks exactly like the set of a porn movie I watched last week with Skin Diamond. I'm being deadly serious. No, I really am being serious. The Grindhouse. An anticlimactic M700 carbon. Good damage and headshot rolls, although you'll be using Deadeye obviously. It's just a shame the talents are so fucky. None of my first choice talents. Firewall. You want it, we got it. Okay then. Well, I want you to get some decent gear in the next reset. Reckon you can manage that, you useless fuck? The Crypt. A sinister lab running cruel scientific experiments on children. Excellent. East 40th Street DZ checkpoint. A passable, reckless chest. It's what every fashionable kamikaze will be wearing this summer. East 53rd Street DZ checkpoint. Plus 7% turret health mod. If you've decided to become a fucking pyromaniac and test Firecrest, you might want some of these. Burning the enemy alive in a huge fireball is always fun. I find listening to the screams just before bedtime is incredibly relaxing and helps me sleep like a baby, with slightly less gurgling and less incontinence obviously. Well, I think I've wasted enough of everyone's time for 1 week, so let's wrap this up faster than a serial killer wraps up the corpse of a murdered waitress. So at the risk of sounding like one of those Oscars cunts, special thanks to Vlammenzee for the excellent scruffy and title graphics, Snowball, Monster, Buzz, Skillup, Sasho, Nomad, Sealed New, Boomsledge, McCracken, Jamie Ward, Alcoholistair, Skippy, Division Reddit, Kullenberg, Possum, DeKempfen, Andrew Blackmore, Drew Tortorella, Jonathan Rumer, Fred Fuchs, Rob 2D, and just as importantly, the people I forgot to mention because I have a brain like a fucking snail. Oh yeah, and thanks to the Russian email scammer who keeps tweeting me pictures of a hot girl wearing just a bra. Sorry, I'm never going to reply, but I'm enjoying the photos a great deal. Good luck, and happy hunting.